What's happening, you dirty, dirty motherfuckers? Welcome to the first and perhaps last installment of, um, I don't know what you want to call this. I'm sure you guys can come up with a crafty name. I was thinking Betley's Briefs, considering I got a pair of my boxer briefs right here, fresh after a yoga class. So go and fuck yourselves, all you guys. You can call it Betley's Bitch Fest. I guess I really don't give a shit what you call it, because as far as I'm concerned, I don't know if this is going to be the first or last. But regardless, it's been a long time coming that the tLOL has needed a fresh face, a fresh voice, and somebody to finally be a little real and put some of you motherfuckers in your place. And so that's what my job is, and that's what I'm here for. So without further ado, I got a little bit of a laundry list, no pun intended, of some shit that I'd like to talk about that's been going on pretty much since the existence of this league, but really primarily over the last couple of weeks. I don't give a shit what any of you say about any of the things that I have to say and whether you agree with me or not. So you can go fuck yourselves already when it comes to any of your responses. One of the first things that I did want to talk about was how incredibly unbelievable it is how wrong and how wrong some of you in this league are when it comes to pretty much anything, and just the amount of fucking idiots that we have in this league. It's funny because I read something today that really kind of hit home with kind of what I want to talk about today, and it had to do with the First Amendment. And they say the First Amendment protects you from prosecution for things that you have to say, for giving your opinion, blah, 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 blah. Everyone wants to throw out, my First Amendment rights, this and that, blah, blah, blah. While that may be true, the First Amendment does not protect you from having consequences for the things that you say. Maybe you won't get prosecuted in the court of law, but there's still consequences for the things that you have to say. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the consequence. And your consequence is having to deal with me, because I'm going to be the voice of reason, and I'm going to be the one that's going to put an accurate spin on most of the fucking shit that some of you guys are talking about on here. So, the first thing that I wanted to talk about was the primary perpetrator of this has been Greg Mattson. I don't think anybody can argue that he thinks that he is the smartest, most genius person in the world, specifically when it comes to fantasy football. And some of the things that he has had to say over the last few weeks are just god awfully horrendous and fucking wrong. The big thing for me goes back to the trade between myself and Tarly. I think, and I'm almost positive that the words that Greg used, and he's used this term almost like no other word throughout anything that's happened in this league, was awful. That trade was awful. No, it wasn't. It wasn't an awful trade. I think it was mentioned in that other, and I'm going to use the term correctly here, awful podcast, Coon's Corner, that an awful trade would be like me trading my first round pick for a fourth round pick, or me trading Peyton Manning or Aaron Rodgers for fucking buttfuck McGee or some other fucking clown in the league who is a third string fucking offensive lineman that doesn't score any fantasy. That's an awful trade. You don't know what the term fucking awful means, so stop using it. Just stop it, for God's sakes. In a trade like mine and Tarley's, and there was one like Raffleson's, you can't call that awful. You don't know how it's going to play out. Okay? There's draft picks there, and there's other players there who are young in their career who haven't really done shit yet. You don't know how certain players are going to produce in 2, 3, 4 years. You don't know what the outcome of those draft picks are going to be. You don't know if I turn my 2, 3 draft picks that I get and I turn them into other trades where I get some sort of superstar at the time, 2, 3 years down the road. You don't know if I draft some fucking cocksucker tight end or a wide receiver from Texas or from Oklahoma or from fucking wherever with one of the draft picks that I acquired, and that motherfucker turns out to be the next superstar in the league, or the next Calvin Johnson, or the next whoever. You don't know. So for you to throw out something like awful, 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 you're an idiot. You're a fucking moron, okay? what bugs me the most is that you have no ability to analyze anything. It's just one side or the other. It's either awful or it's great. No! No! You're stupid, okay? Things can be in the middle. There can be some middle ground. So stop throwing out shit like awful trade or Raffleson got fucked there or Betley's a complete fucking moron. You don't know. And you don't know the reason behind any of the trade. The funny thing about that Tarley trade that I loved was everyone was like, oh, Betley really wants McKinnon. Oh, Betley really fucking loves McKinnon. Tarley and I were talking about Kelvin Benjamin and DeAndre, whoever, I can't even remember who I traded for. Kelvin Benjamin and whoever else was involved in that trade. That McKinnon wasn't even involved in the trade until the very end. That was just kind of a last minute thing that Tarley threw in there, and it kind of put a final stamp on the trade. But you know what? I don't have to justify myself to you fucking idiots, although I'm doing it, and I understand that I'm doing it. But it's just, you make it so hard not to have to fucking stick up for yourself when you throw stupid shit out there like awful trade and this and that. Just shut up, okay? I understand that you have your opinion, and I have my opinion too. I'm not saying that I'm right. I might be wrong too. I may have gotten butt-fucked in that trade. Raffleson may have gotten butt-fucked in his trade. But nobody knows right now. Nobody knows. You cannot tell right now how anything's going to play out. So just stop it. Really, please just stop it. Nobody wants to hear your shit. Nobody believes your shit. I don't want to hear your shit, so maybe I'm the only one. But just stop it. You're a fucking idiot. You're wrong, and you don't know fucking anything. Okay? All right, let me kind of go on to my next thing, and this kind of is a segue into what I talked about with Greg. There's no accountability in this league whatsoever. And what I mean by that is kind of going back to the Greg trade and kind of going back to some of the things that some other people have said, mainly like Cooney and guys like Marcus, who think that they're just fucking right about everything. You make these outlandish statements like awful trade, this and that. But you know what? In 3 years down the road, if it turns out that if you were really to go back and look and you were to analyze that Raffleson trade, or you were to analyze the trade between me and Tarley, and you would come to find out that I actually maybe benefited from that trade, or maybe it was a little bit of an equal trade, or maybe I got the best part of that trade because of however the draft picked out or however I used those draft picks for trades. Greg is never going to have an opportunity, nor will he take responsibility or accountability to go back and say, I was wrong. Because A, he's too much of a fucking idiot to go back and admit that he was wrong. And B, nobody's going to go back and keep track of that. And so that's what pisses me off the most about all these outlandish comments that people make and these like one-sided opinions. You're never going to be held accountable for being wrong. So there's just complete cowardice when it comes to putting that shit out there because you know that if you're wrong, nobody's going to fucking remember what you said. And so people don't recognize or don't seem to discuss how you can have opposite opinions in this league. You can have opposite opinions in life. It's possible. I may covet draft picks more than a guy like Tarley. Okay? Does that make me right or wrong? No. Does that make Tarley right or wrong? No. It means what it is. Okay? I've had conversations with people about this. There's people who think, oh, the third round draft pick's stupid, the fourth round draft pick, this or that. Okay, that's your opinion. That doesn't make you right. You may think that you're right, but it doesn't make you right. Sorry. God damn. So people can have different opinions on different things. They can have different opinions on draft picks and on younger players, on older players, on playing for now so that they can win this year, on playing for 2, 3, 4 years down the road so they can be the Empire. The last time that I checked, nobody in this league is an expert in anything fantasy football. Nobody's done anything with their life in fantasy football. Okay, maybe you've won a couple of leagues here and there, but nobody has fucking done anything. Nobody's the Paul Charchian where they've created all kinds of leagues and they've got their own fucking like podcast that goes national about fantasy football. None of us, including me, know anything. Prime example, our fucking commissioner Russ. This has been an ongoing joke for years, but a couple years back, Russ was Kevin Smith. Oh, he's going to be the surprise outbreak, goddamn fucking king shit, big dick of the fucking year. He was horrible. Absolutely horrendous. And we continue to give him shit about that to this day.